So, oh, we got a recording in progress. Okay, so we're gonna jump right in here and I'm gonna share my screen. All right. So, like I said, when I first created this training, we were just at the beginning of the pandemic shutdown, and we had uh, all very, very quickly, at least at the YW, we were working remotely from home. And so trying to get the feel of technology and everything that was changing day by day with the state and all the policies, I thought that this was a very, very, important thing to kind of work through. And I still feel that it's very, very relevant because we're hopefully at the tail end of the pandemic, but are always going to come up and feel this feeling of discomfort, and it's always going to be around us. Discomfort is not loud. A lot of people think that it is loud, that it has to be this huge, major thing going on in your life. But it's more like the sound of kind of a distant jackhammer. It's incessant and it's unsettling. It can feel awful and it can show up as defensiveness, annoyance, impatience. But because it doesn't shout out in this loud way, it's easy to shut discomfort out and go into this kind of hidey hole, as I like to call it, of avoidance. And like so many other challenging emotions, discomfort is a signal. It's kind of our internal GPS that tells us that we might be off course. It's telling us, pay attention. Something important is happening to us. It may arise as simple pinpricks of irritation, like when someone cuts you off in traffic or a neighbor is playing their music too loud. And heavier discomfort arises when life is really, it's turned on its head, as it has been for the past couple of years. It can also arise in heavier things such as conversations about race or the war that's going on between Ukraine and Russia, or the work that you just need to get through your normal day. You may not know how to work with this discomfort, and you definitely are not alone. It's our biological imperative for every creature to move away from this unpleasant feeling and move towards the pleasant. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And the truth is that our finest moments are most likely to occur when we are feeling deeply uncomfortable, unhappy, or unfulfilled, which that may seem very counteractive or counterintuitive, but it's only within these moments, propelled by our discomfort, that we're likely to step out of our ruts and start searching for different ways or truer answers. And as I said, I'm in this kind of discomfort zone myself right now because I am not, well, I'm in control right now, but I was not in control of this, creating the Zoom link even and making sure that I was able to share my screen. And so that was something that I could not control. But there is an upside in getting comfortable with discomfort, not the least of which is preventing it from ballooning into full-blown anger, fear, or anxiety. And that's where I would have gone if I would not have been able to say, it's okay. Dana sent me the link. We've got everything going on. I was able to walk myself through it because I've learned how to do it. And this is a learned habit. It's a learned response. And by avoiding our discomfort, we're actually declining the invitation to grow and engage in necessary and meaningful change. And being quiet is comfortable. Keeping things the way they've been is comfortable. And all comfort has done is really is it's keeping us in this box. We can think of beginning to work with our discomfort as an act of loving kindness to ourselves, our coworkers, our friends, our community. Getting out of discomfort is compassion, and we want to turn towards it instead of away from it, because then we have the ability to pay attention in a kind, open, and a non-reactive way. We want to take a pause and we want to respond instead of react. And you all have probably heard the buzzword mindfulness. And I do a lot of trainings on mindfulness. But that's all that taking this discomfort out, that's all that it is. It's just being in the moment. Being in the moment and seeing exactly what is happening right at this present time. So first we have to figure out what the difference is between an emotion and a feeling. We have to be vigilant with this. Vigilance is rooted within, we always just want to drop back into the body, because that's where we're first going to feel emotions. And emotions are the physical state. And the feelings are our mental associations and reactions to those emotions. So by figuring out what's happening, like where's my fear in my body? Where do I tend to hold my anger or my anxiety? So paying attention to what we're telling ourselves, we can counter that worst case scenario, and we can decrease our resistance and defeat our negative emotions, and we can increase our self-confidence. So by recognizing what is happening to our physical body and what labels and stories we are placing that on them, we can hopefully switch that around and put it into and spin it into a positive instead of a negative. And so uncertainty, many times discomfort starts with uncertainty. And try to think of uncertainty, again, that's usually not having any control, as a feeling thought, a mental association. We're usually, when we're in this state of uncertainty, asking ourselves questions like, why is this happening? What will happen if? And that usually is very, anxiety ridden and fear ridden. And this leads us to telling ourselves stories that usually are not reality. And I love this definition of discomfort: the silent tension that lays in the work you must do to become who you're capable of being. So discomfort is more of an emotion. And look at that word tension. And remember back to the difference between a feeling and an emotion. So really, discomfort is a story that we're telling ourselves. So how do we take the balance of what we can control and what we can't and use it for growth, use it for good, for the positive? Most of us think that being and staying in the comfort zone is the place that we want to be. But a lot of times that causes us to be stagnant. It leaves us there. The comfort zone is a behavioral state within which a person operates in an anxiety neutral condition. And we end up using a limited set of behaviors to deliver this kind of steady level of performance where there's no growth. And there's usually a sense of risk. of, again, fear, of making mistakes. And comfort kills creativity and productivity. Our body and mind, we crave really easy routines and habits, and we naturally gravitate towards our safe zone. But our growth depends on discomfort. It really does. We need to explore new routines, paths, ideas, disciplines, and new ways to be better at what we do. And left unchecked, we're always going to default to the more comfortable path. It's our mental security. And that's why it's so hard to kick our brain out of this comfort zone. We naturally gravitate towards it. So there's a couple ways you can choose to look at discomfort. And again, one, this is the place where we want to think of discomfort. And that is the place of strength and confidence. And the other is from a place of weakness and fear. And when we're coming from a place of weakness and fear, we see discomfort as an unpleasant condition that we will do anything to get away from it as quickly as possible, including things that could harm or hurt us or make our life more difficult in the long term. We're always usually looking for an easy way out, and we may not know that the easy way will actually do more damage. When we encounter discomfort, instead of running away from it, we really need to stop and see what it is, truly for what it is. It's opportunity and growth. And that's the way that we need to look at it. So normally I would do an exercise, and I can definitely give this to you, but it's a way for you to move away from that discomfort, and that is see, hear, and feel. And so you, again, paying attention to what is happening in your body, what you are physically seeing, and what you're hearing, and then how you are going to name it. And that is an easy way to kind of move away from this catastrophic thinking, that we always are going to go to the worst case scenario. And so really paying attention to visually what's going on around you, not putting a story to it, not putting an opinion or a thought to it, just what you are seeing and what you're hearing, and then kind of put a feeling word to it. So we're going to go into 10 forms of positivity, and I'm going to go through these pretty quickly because, again, we don't have a lot of time. But it's important to note that positivity it's not positive thinking. For example, like if you, there's so many self-help books, which I don't like that term because it means that that we do need help. We need assistance, which, I mean, everybody does need help, but it also gives kind of the message that we're not enough, that there's something wrong with us. So that's why I love the word care, because it creates this compassion and forgiveness within ourselves. So a lot of times these books will have you, repeat these positive mantras in the morning but positivity really is not positive thinking. It comes from within. We already have it. We just need to embrace it. And having positive thinking usually is not coming from an authentic or a heartfully in place. It's something that we're just we're just telling ourselves. But just telling ourselves really isn't working through anything. It's the doing and the being that you have to do instead of just, repeating words. We need to find really the balance in what we're thinking and feeling. And this is just if you ask for the PowerPoint, ways of things that we, again, these positive things that we may tell ourselves, and then ways that you can say it instead. So I'll just go through one, like, everything happens for a reason. Instead of saying that, try saying it's okay to feel bad sometimes. So you're giving yourself permission to feel the way that you feel, because you are feeling it. And give yourself permission. It's okay to feel bad sometimes. If we didn't feel bad, then we would never know what feeling good is about. So the first way of is finding positivity within ourselves, because it's already within us, is joy. So this is a much longer lasting feeling than happiness. Usually happiness comes from external things, and it's very fleeting. Joy comes from within. We already have it. It may be you feel it the first time you held a newborn, or seeing a loved one after time has passed. You can actually feel it coming from within inside, and you don't need some external thing to bring it out. The second one is gratitude. And of course, I have another training in the afternoon on gratitude. And this is just recognizing all the good that is in our lives. You know, it is a gloomy, rainy day today, but I can be grateful that I have, a roof over my head, something as simple as that. So I'm not out in the rain getting wet. Or I can think, wow, it's great that it's raining right now. It's getting the ground ready for me to plant my garden when it's actually, actually time. So recognizing the good in things. And again, this is just another graphic of 5 ways to grow your attitude. And again, I apologize for rushing through these, but I just want to make sure that we have enough time to go through everything. Serenity. And this is just a state of being peaceful, calm, and tranquil. Maybe just curling up with your dog or your cat, and just being in the sunshine. Going for a stroll on the beach, listening to your favorite music. Anything, again, that brings up from within the things that are already within you. Those are the things that we need to find. Interest is the fourth one. This is just the state of wanting to know or learn about something or someone. And as educators, as most of you, even though you may not think of yourself really as an educator, being in any healthcare, social service, we are always wanting to learn and know more about something. And the more that you are interested, you find your passion, and it induces this pleasant state of feeling. Hope. So this arises when your circumstances are not necessarily favorable. So hope and optimism, they are wonderful things that come from within. It's not necessarily, a lot of people think of hoping as thinking about something that may happen in the future. But really, it motivates us to tap into our own capabilities that we already have, and to be resourceful of the things that, again, that we already have inside of us, and to turn things around. I do like this quote that Obama had. Hope is that stubborn thing inside of us that insists that something better awaits us, so long as we have the courage to keep reaching, to keep working, to keep fighting. And so, as he said, that stubborn thing inside of us, we already have all of these positivity things. We just have to bring them to the surface. And pride. This is a deep feeling of pleasure or satisfaction that we derive from our own achievements, or those that are closely associated with us, or from qualities that we admire. I recently received uh, a great note from someone who had come to, and it was, I mean, my daughter graduated in the summer, but I just received this letter and it was wonderful. It was a thank you card. My daughter had written a thank you card for her graduation from someone who came to her party. And the letter was, she was so thankful that my daughter was very detailed and she really tailored it towards the person that gave her the gift. And it wasn't just, thank you for the money. She really spent a lot of time and effort on who she was writing that letter to. And then that person wrote a letter to me. And so um, it was just, it was a wonderful moment that when we give things, we usually end up receiving things as well. So that's, we'll talk a lot about that in the gratitude training if you're taking that. So it can be, pride for something else that someone else did, not necessarily, our own accomplishments. And then of course, amusement, making funny faces or jokes, laughing, those belly laughs when you just cannot stop laughing. And it usually comes from unexpected things that happen or behaviors. And those could be even things that are, they end up there. First of all, you thought they were horrible and negative. And if you turn it around and it'll be another story in your life and make it an amusing story and a funny story, it can completely turn your whole day around. And then of course, inspiration, being mentally stimulated to feel or do something, especially creative, which I know we've got a lot of creative activities going on at the self-care day today. So I hope that you can take part in those and get some inspiration from them. And awe. This is going back to like being a child, feeling this respect, but kind of mixed with fear and wonder, like, wow, what is this? And thinking of yourself as a child of when you first saw something or when you first experienced something, it kind of made you maybe feel overwhelmed, and it made you stop in your tracks to really think like, oh my gosh, wow. And then it created this emotion of gratitude and, again, inspiration. And then the 10th positivity that we have inside of us is love. And unlike all the rest, love is very multifaceted, and it's not a single kind of positivity. It really encompasses all of the 9 other attributes that we have. And what transforms the other attributes into love is the context. So, for example, when the good feelings that stir in our heart within a safe and close relationship, we can call that love. It's a momentary state, and it's not simply a description of our relationship, but it's something that was brought up from one of the other 9 attributes that we have. And the most important thing is really to just remember that it's okay to be okay with discomfort and not to feel comfortable. Allow the bad emotions, allow them. They're there. embrace them, sit with them until they pass. It's just a feeling and it will pass. Think of discomfort as a friend. A lot of good things start from a place of uncertainty and a place of fear and anxiety. And just practicing the awareness. Again, where is that tension? Where is that anxiety, that anger coming from in your body? And putting a label to it. So maybe the next time that feeling comes up in your body, that you can be like, oh, okay, I've had that feeling before. I know what it is. And now I know I can move through it and I can go on. So moving forward, we don't have to have everything figured out. Just take the very next step. That's all we need to do. Take the very next step. And pause and remember, if you just keep moving forward, everything you need will show up for you at the perfect time. And those are just some resources I used. And there is my email. Thank you so much. I know that was a lot to go through and very quickly. Again, if you need any more resources, I am a wealth of information. I love to research. It's one of my passions. I also am able to do any kind of, staff ed sessions coming in. We can do actual activities face to face if anybody would like to do that. So reach out to me for anything, any kind of training, ed session, resource. I'm here.
Steph, thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, well, I so appreciate your time and I'm looking forward to your gratitude session as well. If you guys could please do this real quick poll for me, it's only 2 questions. I would greatly appreciate it. And then pop off this session if you're coming to another one and hop on the next Zoom. Thanks so much.
Thank you.